Is this over? Hail the Empresses! It's like something what I would have written back in my heyday. So we have lost much in this timeline in comparison to what we have set in stone. Ruby's dead. Both of her parents are dead. Alphonse is dead. So is Derek. And the whole kingdoms are in complete disarray. Just a total mess. But they're adjusting fairly quickly. I mean, they kind of have to in most cases, because otherwise, most chipper lads and lasses at their tender age would have broken at the seams. So they're doing a bang up job, I guess. So who's the Queen of Mon now? Is it Ellen or Tara? I'm going to... Yeah, it has to be Ellen. Because I'm ruling a different country now. So yeah, Ellen's the Queen of Mon now, I guess. What about your dad? What about your dad? Well, the coronation's all done. Oh, is Josh going to ascend to the Mage's 8 now? Is he learning the ways from Maxwell? Hey guys, I'm back! Yeah, don't underestimate the speed of Terra. That's the name of Heather's Pegasus. Her speed is mighty, I'll let you know. It's Michael! It's Michael! Yeah! Oh, Mikey! I'm glad to see you, buddy! Yeah, boys! Michael's here! It's a party now! What up, Amy? Oh, this is making me smile all sorts of ways, even though this was legitimately the most darkest timeline our characters I've ever been part of. Oh god, my head's spinning right now. That was pretty great! Got cookies and everything. They'll do good. Josh is the core page! He is ascended beyond Ken! I knew he could do it! I knew he could do it! But Julie's not all alone now. Oh man, that sucks! That's cool, but that sucks! But that's cool! But that sucks! Oh man! Julie's all alone now. Oh, this is so weird! And yet I can't get mad at this at all. Understood. A kingdom ruled by 2 queens! Oh, so they're both tag teaming it. Okay. That'd be rad! Like, totally. Like, you know, whatever. I love these two. Even if they're not supposed to be siblings in our lore, I just like their banter. I'm hungry. I've been recording for like 2 hours now, and I need to eat lunch soon. Bruh, that's totally like, it's like a mega bummer, man. But of course. That's what you said yesterday! Hendrix, put it. No, please come back, Tuck. He's gonna work us to the bone. No. Now then, turtles. Oh, they're so messed. Oh, they're so messed. I need to eat lunch when this is over, and then take a shower. Because I got stuff to do when this is— oh man, this is gonna be one heck of a show. Whoa, what's that? Oh, we're done! Oh, we're done! Oh, we're done. Shoutouts to Rain Lash, that was cool. Hey guys, I made these characters. I guess that's... the rest! I need to catch my breath and drink some water. Hey Josh, there's you! We did it together! What did Don make? I didn't know he made maps, right? Huh. Yeah, there was actual music in this. It was just FE7 and 8 music, but I just misinterpreted the README. So I just put Xenoblade music in there instead. This is a non-profit Fangame released for free, and developed using Lex Talionis engine. Many assets are copyright or trademarked by their respective owners. Yeah, the most of my sprites, nerd. No, I'm kidding. So how we do? Overall MVP, Josh. Wouldn't have had it any— well, I would have had it with Julie, but Josh's second best is good enough for me, I gotta say. And he was the MVP of the last one. Yeah, Josh kicked ass in the last one, getting all those kills because he needed to bulk up. Oh, yeah, he did. He did the most damage. 904. Yeah, he was the real steel dude. That was oh man. Oh, you can view individual chapters. I didn't know that you could do that. I just thought it was an overall list. You can view an individual— oh man, I even noticed you could do this in Lion Throne too. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like this. This is cool. This is cool. She was well loved by her subjects and people. And then they have kill count, damage done, and healing done. I read these. Constant trips around the New Kingdom. Modest Magician. So Chris ascended. So he's just like, yeah, Josh, by the way, I'll tell you how it is. So many new books. Oh god. What's this one? Thracia 776? Sounds like an interesting read. Galthax being a bodyguard, I thought it would be a little weird, but turned out alright. Good old Winston! I love this dude. The best and finest soldiers among— yeah, he better. Yeah, he better. She will protect the life cycle. One shot Sal, living it up. Grand night. I always did have a soft spot for Tuck, so best and greatest nights speaks to me on a meta level as well. Intense Commander! That's about right. This feels so weird and yet so right at the same time. Oh, I do have an actual outro, by the way, guys. I'm just letting this play so I can take it all in. You will one day, Iris. I have faith in you. A most radical and excellent night! Like, totally. Oh! Like, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. Those two are gonna be the death of me. It's always a good time. No mention of Melanie. That's okay. She wasn't a part of Sacred Dawn DX by the time I could put her in anyway. Oh well. It's fine. My son! I believed! Man, Josh is core mage. I mean, he always had the balls to do it, but so soon, like after the hack. Dancing Blade, that's a good one. That's a good title. I like that a lot. Yeah, there's Owen Wilson, welcome him back because he's not as handsome as people thought he was. Or he thought he was. He thought he was. She's back, boys! Jessica's back in disguise. She's trying. Anne's trying her best. Yeah, Scarlet Angel. That's the name I gave her. I completely forgot to go over that moniker. That's one I'm actually quite proud of. The Raymond Chronicles is over. I knew it! Couldn't have put him away! Oh! Oh, God! So much! I'm okay. I just got an idea. I wish this how it went down in real life. I really wish this how it went down in real life. I did know Josh back then, but I didn't know any girls back then who would be interested in this sort of thing. Like, on a personal level, I mean. Oh, Megan. Oh, Megan. Oh, this is so weird! Because so much has changed regarding Megan, too! Yeah? Well, that's... And why stop there? I can't even get mad at that. I cannot even get mad at that. I'm smiling so hard right now. That's so good. You know what, BB Hood? You're welcome. Can't exactly say goodbye to this yet without sharing some final thoughts. Now that it's been a few days since recording that ending, it's been given some time to settle in my brain, and I've come to some conclusions. I'll start with the story and how you handled the cast, as this is the most important bullet point to tackle. Having to bear witness to someone else's interpretation of your characters in a story of their crafting typically has you under threat of a nagging feeling that, quote, what you're reading/viewing feels wrong, end quote, because it's not what you're used to. I've had that several times throughout this playthrough, and there is a reason why I keep joking about this being the darkest timeline regarding the cast. It truly was. Make no mistake though, I really enjoyed this hot take. The story at its core is nothing special and, as I thought, fairly tongue-in-cheek in places, but I had some good laughs with mine and Josh's namesakes being used for their nations of the continent. Did a good job keeping most of the cast in character as far as their old lore goes, even if I felt some individual exchanges could have gotten some extra flair. This mostly applies to Julie and Josh, who are noticeably stronger-willed than how I typically write them, especially at the climax when the double whammy of losing both Amelia and Ruby. Losing either one of them would leave both of the kids a mess. Not a mistake in and of itself, mind, just something I noticed. Although this was treated as an ensemble cast story, it seemed like the central characters of the hero's side were Julie, Josh, and Heather. They had the most maps and playtime, a sizable amount of dialogue between them, even if they didn't share screen time with each other until the last act, and they had the most personal stakes in the story. Heather had her nightly duties in check until Derek emerged as the true villain and kidnapper of the princesses, then her priority changed to kicking his ass for vengeance. Julie and Josh, meanwhile, are going to Mon to find Ruby and demand why their forces are going hostile, not unlike their motivations in the Sacred Dawn and ASDDX. They find her only to realize she took the brunt of Derek's ritual and succumbed to the Archdemon, not to put her down. I honestly wouldn't have had it any other way with those three taking center stage for this story. Only thing that bums me out a little, apart from Amelia and Ruby dying, is Julie and Heather being total strangers in this continuity, unlike Sacred Dawn / ASDDX and current lore. The Archdemon possessing Ruby and becoming the final boss caught me off guard, but like I said, really should have seen that coming, given Ruby's identity in the Sacred Dawn. It was foreshadowed, of course, with being Derek's prime motivation, but I was fully prepared for Derek to be the final boss until Ruby spooked me. Not gonna dock any points for that, again, tongue-in-cheek premise and story, and I was no better back in the day. Other than that, story was solid, if a bit sparse in the beginning. It's fine. Will definitely tip my hat to you for managing to tell a decent story involving my cast, and not devolving into a lengthy diatribe of words as I'm prone to do. Great work! Also, that stinger had me in stitches, boy, I tell you what. I was about to commend you for not including myself in any sort of capacity, but then the stinger hit and I did a complete 180. I truly wish that was how it happened, too. It does make me sad that I won't be able to talk about Megan, who's had as many changes to her character as some other examples I gave during this playthrough, but seeing her at the end with me was a hoot. Now for the game overall. The Lion Throne keeps keeping things small scale and eschewing as many luck-dependent mechanics of Fire Emblem as possible worked great with its short length, and this holds true for the Raymond Chronicles as well. Much of the game balance felt tight, and having the game primarily be player-face focused was a good decision. Kept the pacing smooth in many cases. It still lamented the fact that we don't get to see any heroes, though. Would have liked to have seen some of the other things from Lion Throne in this, such as the Fortune Refresh light spells and the Master Weapons, but I liked what we got. Worst chapter is still Chapter 2. In hindsight, I wasn't as familiar with the Lion Throne's mechanics as I am now, and could have handled it better. But I stand by my criticism about it. The first two maps have had some map design issues, but then then comes this map and oof. There's serious contention for it being a momentum killer for some. The earlier portion of it felt too bloated with little breathing room due to its crowded nature, and the later portion was empty as Cliff didn't aggro and we had to march up to him uneventfully until we got into his attack range. I think the opening dialogue could also be improved a little bit, but I maintain that the best part was the ending dialogue, which you nailed. Great job. Best chapter? I could easily say the latter half of this game in its entirety, but if I had to pick one, definitely Chapter 8. The well-timed merging of the parties, coupled with you finally breaking up the base camp mechanic, which I was seriously worrying I wouldn't get to see, with all of those great, nicely written base conversations with some real bangers in there, followed by a cool siege map that really did feel like we were at war, with Alistair hanging at the front gate, and your massive NPC forces breaking away to handle the stragglers while your units charge forward. A great time all around. Worst character to use for me was probably Charlie. Plum and Mark were seriously considered, but I feel like I got unlucky with both of their level ups and they fell behind as a result. But Charlie actually felt like he was lacking presence. The lack of enemy axe users to fight past Chapter 2 cuts into his offensive productivity more than I'd like. Surely he's a thief, but that shouldn't disqualify him from lending a hand during combat. There were a couple of things to potentially steal, such as the Speedwings in Chapter 7, the General's weapons, and Amelia's Blizzard spell in Chapter 9, and Madeline's Fireball spell in the final chapter, but most of that is a bit too little too late for me. Heather gets away with sword fighting because she has a personal Lance Reaver and can fly, and Julie does as well thanks to the Thunderblade having conductance. Meanwhile, Charlie's stuck using magic swords that he can't use as well as Julie, and his offensive is gutted until he class changes. The easiest fix I would suggest would be to give Julie's chapters more enemies to fight. They'd help both him and Julie out and potential targets to eat up. I wouldn't mind being able to steal more offhand weapons / items in those maps either. Best character to use for me, hard sell, seeing as there are a lot of good characters to use, but I think Jessica takes it just over Josh. She gives Heather's team some much-needed muscle for their maps, has reliable bulk as well as offense, and learns charisma at a good time when the enemy starts kicking it up a notch in numbers. Anytime I needed to soften someone up or deal a decisive blow, Jessica was there. If she was still a Falcon Knight, but kept her Paladin skill set, I'd honestly think she'd be the best unit in the game, hands down. I found her dialogue to be pretty good too. If there was just one more slot for the final chapter roster, I'd have fielded it over there for sure. Any other recommendations for improvement? Well, if you're in the business of adding a chapter or two, I feel like Tuck's crew would benefit from having one the most, as they had the least screen time. You'd probably have to tweak their levels from the prologue to compensate, though. I read that you expressed interest to use North from Yuri's side story, and he could probably show up here. Also, just a personal thing, but I'd really like it if Iris got some extra hit bits of dialogue just saying wink wink. I'd also be down with using the base screen more often as a means to catch your breath between maps, rearrange your items, and talk. No needing to have to buy anything until Chapter 8, I thought that was fine there. You don't have to go ham with it, but giving some other guys some screen time via base conversations like Charlie, Jessica, Michelle, and the like would be nice. Now, this is a related suggestion and not meant to improve the game, but merely for my own satisfaction, but I'd also like to see Timothy and Ariana get in on the fun. I put this in a comment, but during a Sacred Dawn DX's FEXNA draft, both characters took to being a merchant duo and even participated in a battle via wagon and crossbow. It'd be cool to see them act as the merchants for Julie's party, managing their stuff. They don't have to become playable units, but that'd be dope to see. Aside from those, the only other suggestions I had was the Spare Amelia event for a boss fight, and possibly a better ending where Ruby survives. Don't have to do the last one, but hey, I like a good happy ending. These are all, of course, up to you to decide to implement or not, BB Hood. I am merely a patron seeing my characters dance. Before anything else, I'd like to issue a sincere, formal apology to BB Hood. You don't get to survive being a regular in the FE ROM hacking community for as many years as I have without being a little skeptical about new projects surfacing, whether they be rookie upstarts or complete from start to finish. Sturgeon's Law is mighty, after all. Given this Fangame's context and use of my old sprites, when this materialized out of nowhere, I expected this to be a joke. Everyone in our Discord server expected this to be a joke. Zim, creator of Staff of Ages, out of curiosity, only played a single map and wrote it off as being uninteresting. We were all ready to laugh at it and move on. Had I not been in a good mood that Sunday, a real good mood, I would have done the same. Record just a few maps, laugh, move on. But after trying out the first map, it felt weird to see my old characters again. But in a good way. The benefit of the doubt was cast, and the recording began as a means to extend the proverbial olive branch. I don't talk about myself very often, so I felt this would be a good idea to let a big part of me be known. At the same time, reflecting on the characters I made and comparing the then and now, while having something to play to pass the time. I ended up doing that, and much more, reflecting on my past work as a whole, and laughing with it, not at it. I remember you making a comment during your MK404 screenshot LP thread on Serenus Forest, after I had said that, despite me looking back at my old stuff as an old shame, I still let people download it as it'd be rude of me not to have the option. You replied that this is a good outlook to have, regardless of what you may think about your old shame, dusting away a piece of history like these would be wrong. And you're totally right. It did tick up to Chapter 3, and also playing through the entirety of the Lion Throne as practice, to truly start enjoying and appreciating the Raymond Chronicles. But it was very much worth the effort. I love this. It has been a blast to play and relive the good times I had ROM hacking. The momentum of the game, coupled with the Lion Throne's design philosophy for units and stats which uses a template, only increased with each map after Chapter 3, culminating in that glorious 1-2 punch of Chapter 6's ending and all of Chapter 8. We're realizing just how much has changed with my OC since the days of a Sacred Dawn DX, and still finding fun in someone's interpretation of the lore Josh and I created for them. I even had a few moments where I felt like I wished I was doing this again. I had missed the sensation. This was pretty great motivation to revisit and update many of these characters that haven't seen action since the Sacred Dawn DX. Josh has been doing exactly that since the start of this playthrough, taking many notes to try and enrich our lore, as well as lamenting and not being able to retroactively update our characters for us to see after going over their origins and notes during this LP. Still, he appreciates it as much as I do. BB Hood, I am so sorry I doubted this. This was a great tribute game, and it made me feel wonderful going through it. I'm very flattered that, even now, I have fans like you who took time to create something like, for me, something like this, for me, to play. Even if you still did use my sprites without asking me first. It fills me with this weird sense of elation, and that's cool. Speaking of sprites, this has put me in a very good, creative mood. If you'd like, BB Hood, I'm willing to remake every face sprite used in the Raymond Chronicles with my own current style. It'd give me something to do, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to give peeps like Winston and Catherine new looks. This is, of course, your call, and if you prefer to keep the old school sprites, that's fine. At the very least, let's keep in contact. If you ever want to know more about my OCs related gobbledygook, Discord's always an open avenue to talk. Big shoutouts to Rain Lash for making Lex Talionis. This is a cool engine. It's got promise, and I hope more people take notice of it. I'll be glad to do a playthrough of the Lion Throne one day, when I have less time on my plate to do. So the rest of you guys, how the hell do you put up with me talking nonsense about my OCs for this long? You guys are troopers. I'm so glad people took notice of this playthrough, however many that did. Thank you guys for watching. This has been really fun to do. I'm glad I took the time to do this recording. This was really fun. I'm glad you guys watched. This makes me feel good. I'll see you guys for the next adventure, whatever that is. I hope you had fun. Toodles!